So I got asked to talk about this because of the subject matter. A lot of you guys came to my channel over at Young River 59, maybe even the Facebook, following me on social media because of my coverage of really the whole entire COVID stuff. We were ahead of that. And I'm not asking for an apology or anything from those of you that talked dying. But because a lot of you came to it, I think it's important to highlight a lot of folks are still going to be late to the party. Now, this story right here is centered around Zachary Levi, who's appearing in the next Shazam release. And I did a review. I'm not going to be doing, I don't really go watch movies or anything like that anymore, so I'm not going to be doing a review on Shazam 2. I did do one on the first one, gave it a relatively positive review. You can go check that out if that is your thing. Nonetheless, of course, the shield media is going to be upset at him. The weirdos are going to be upset at him. And you guys have to understand kind of why that is the case. I think that's very important. But what happened out of this, as covered here by The Direct, they are mad because he shared something that was, let's say, frustrated some people. There's a tweet that says, so basically in response to a tweet from a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist by the name of Lyndon Wood, who asked whether the major pharmaceutical company Pfizer is a threat to the world, Levi responded following hardcore agree. Here is the tweet right here. He has not deleted it. I don't know how long it's going to stand. I know he's getting lectures from pretty much everybody that's part of his studio saying you can't say that, of course, but this really boils down to, and this is what the important part about it all is that a guy that's in a position, let's say in Hollywood, says something that goes against, let's say, their beliefs in terms of their religion, known as a big pharma. Now, there was once upon a time, especially the authoritarian left or the social justice left acted as if big pharma was the criminals of the world, right? And then that certainly just changed out of nowhere. And it really goes to show how a lot of these people are full of crap when it comes to their actual views. They don't have any that they will stand on. They just kind of move wherever is advantageous to them and their cause. And in this case, they felt like this was something that they drew an ideological line on. That's really what the whole jab situation turned into. It came, this is why you became it was like a right versus left kind of situation, as if nobody on any side could just form like a rational thought themselves by looking at the data that is available to them. There was one appropriate, let's say, position that you had on that, and that was to get jabbed and then get jabbed multiple times, because for some reason that's now what we do with these types of deals. So he says this, folks are mad. The Rec, which I consider more shield media, is upset, and people are angry that Pfizer and that he's mad at Pfizer. Of course, Grace Randolph, who was a hack, says these new deals. You got they're covering shield media and shield kind of stand accounts talking about how could he take a position, really? And that's all he said. He said he hardcore agrees that Pfizer is the real danger to the world, and I would agree. But because Pfizer, of course, is one of the companies that promoted the jab, of course, that's kind of what they're in. Just forget about Pfizer's history for a second, is what they'd rather have you do. Well, he's taking a position, and because he went out again, he is calling a big pharma, right, a pharmaceutical company known as Pfizer, who got hundreds of billions of dollars from certainly the state. Now, that's what the jab stuff, they have historically done it. They've had settlements where they've been in error. All of that stuff has happened with this criminal organization or whatever you want to call it, known as Pfizer. It's certainly not just Pfizer. But the jab, of course, is now what they're known for. So, well, he is going against what they believe, right? They're the little sacred cow known as Pfizer for some reason. Again, it's just weird that the leftists that were so a big pharma once upon a time is now protective of big pharma because they produced the jab. Who's this about, guys? This is what I tell y'all with the whole Hollywood thing. Obviously, I'm out. I'm long checked out on that stuff. But I tell y'all, like, this is less about like the individuals, like the Rippaverse, for example, and that success. It's less about me. That's part of it, obviously. If Zachary took the position, it's obvious, but a lot of it has more so to do with the ideological assumption. It has a lot to do with the politics and the social views of the people that generally would support a view per se, and that in itself makes them angry. They love to get off on the fact. I mean, we know Pfizer. You guys seen the ads. Pfizer's been paying out of the wazoo to get all these actors and musicians and people that are a part of like entertainment to promote their stuff. They're paying. I don't know how much they're paying them, but they're obviously paying. You've seen the paid ads with all these weirdos. So it's an appropriate thing to them, right? That this is what's supposed to happen. These are the positions that you're supposed to have. And now all of a sudden, well, one of their own just says hardcore agree that Pfizer is a real danger to the world, and that in itself got him aggravated. Now he could be referring to Pfizer's history. I don't know. He could be referring to the jab. I'm not gonna say that he wasn't, but that's why they're mad, because it's all now it's conspiracy theory. Even though all that stuff was sold on a lie. We talked about this. We covered this over the last couple of years. And here we are. See, guys, you got to understand how dirty these cats are and how dirty they play. I don't know. We'll see if Zachary ends up apologizing, or maybe he already has. I haven't seen it. I don't know. That's generally what happens when stuff like this goes down. They get the backlash and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So we'll see what happens out of that. But I do think this is certainly a worth surveying and looking at, because it's showing you how these guys actually view the world, how they view you. They don't like you. They hate your guts. They want nothing to do with you. And any event that you have a position that is against their, again, let's say religious beliefs with this whole jab situation, which is simply be what it was, you are the enemy. And you cannot be holding the views that their enemy holds. That's why I say they support you. And you see how they act when it's one of them and they have one position that they don't like. That's all it takes. You see what happens with J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is a raging idiot leftist. All right, she agrees about 99%. She takes one position when it comes to like the difference between trans women and women, and that in itself they're done with it. That's all it takes. And they get off on this. I think this is the main point not the main point, I guess I already made that, but the point I want to make leaving out of this. This is why I continue to say like they support you, or you don't support, no, excuse me. You support them, they don't support you kind of situation when dealing with like leftists. They get off on having control of these things that you guys know and love. Okay. And this is why anytime anybody gets out of line, they fight like hell to make sure that they're out of it, but they do want to maintain control over that whole entire thing. This is the reality. This is what you're going to be dealing with if you are entering into the entertainment space. So I think it's best we come up with a parallel economy that they don't have control over. So when I take a position that they're irate and angry at, they can't go to anybody. Oh, we can't go to his publisher. We can't go to his distributor. We can't go to anybody, because it's still going to get produced, because nobody cares about what it is that you think, because we're the ones that control that product, right? It's certainly an interesting story. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.